Hello everyone. So this is an overview of if statement in Python. Um, in the last class, I realized that only few of the us were present, so we couldn't do much. Please come to class so that we're able to do new things, we're able to advance and move the way we should be. We should. So this is just an overview of if statements, Python if statements. And you can watch it, and if you have any question, you can ask. So let's start. If statement, it's used to do something if some certain conditions are met. So let's assume I have a variable. What this is going to do is this first line is to create a variable called a and use this equal to insert a value in the variable. So what this means is you have a container labeled a and you have 5 inside that container. So I can say if the value of a is greater than 20, then I want to do something. So this is my condition. If this condition is struck down, what do I want to do? But before we proceed, you introduce a colon. This colon is like you're telling Python that okay, this is the end of conditions. So you put your condition. When you are done, you terminate it with a colon, meaning you are done with all with the condition you want to write. Then next, what do you want to do if this condition is met? If the value of a is greater than 20, then whatever you want to do, you place it within the if statement. So next question is, what does it mean to place something within if statement? So just press enter. Notice this indentation. Whatever is within this indentation is within this if statement. What does that mean? So I'll print hello. So if the value of a is greater than 20, it's going to print hello, meaning that this print hello is within this if statement. But if it's not within this indentation, if it's here, then it's not within this if statement. It's not. So meaning this condition will not affect this. It will always print hello whether this condition is met or not. But if it's within this indentation, then it will only print hello if this condition is met. And of course, that's the purpose of if statement. You want to do something if a certain condition is met. So if the value of a is greater than 20, then this will print out hello. But if the value of a is not greater than 20, then it's not going to print out hello. So this indentation can be achieved by pressing tab once, or you press the space bar 4 times. So they're going to do the same thing. So whether you press tab once or you press the space bar 4 times. So that means this print hello is within this if statement. Let's proceed and do something together. I'll come here and say print hi. So if the value of a is greater than 20, it will print hello and at the same time it will print hi. I want you to also note that this is, because of this indentation, this is within this if statement. So if you run this code, we are not going to see anything. That's because the value of a is not greater than 20. 5 is not greater than 20. This condition is false. So it's not going to print hello and it's not going to print I. In fact, you will not see anything. So let's run it. So we're not going to see anything. Next is this. Let's use value greater than 20. So 50 is greater than 20. If you run it, it's going to print hello and also hi. So let's look at something. What if I have this? If you run this, it will print hello and hi. But note that while this is within this if statement, this is not within this if statement. The implication of that is this. Let's use a small value. So if this condition is met, it will print hello. Of course, the condition is not met because the value of a is not greater than 20. But because this print I is not within this if statement, so it's not dependent on this condition. So whether this condition is met or not, it will always print I. So if you run this code, you will still see I, even though this condition is not met. So it means that this print I is not within this if statement. And for that reason, it will always be executed whether this condition is true or not. Let's proceed. We have the if else. When do we use the if else? So there are some circumstances whereby you want to do something if a condition is met, and you want to do other things if the condition is not met. So that's where we have the else. So if this condition is met, it will print hello. If the condition is not met, it will print good. I want you to note that you can only do one out of the two. It's either this condition is met or not. If it is met, it will do this. If it's not met, it will do this. It's not going to do the two together. It will only do one out of the two. So if the condition is met, it will execute the code within the if. If the condition is not met, it will execute the code within the else. Notice this indentation. This means it's within this else. If the condition is not met, then it comes to the else part. Let's proceed. So we want to talk about the else if. So it is the else if. How does this work? Let's remove this for now. So the else if works this way. If the condition here is met, it will do the if. If the condition is not met, then it will come to the else if and check if the condition there is met. If it's met, then it will do what is inside the else if. Now the else if allows you to run multiple conditions. Like you can chain it. It can be longer than this. So we are going to see that together in few moments time. So if you run this code, is the value of a greater than 20? No. 5 is not greater than 20, so it will come to the else if and check. Is the value of b lesser than 30? Yes. 7 is lesser than 30, so it will print 30. Let's look at another example together. Let's see. We have this. Is the value of a greater than 20? No. Is the value of b lesser than 30? No. If you run this, we're not going to see anything. Let's proceed. This. So is the value of a greater than 20? Yes, it's going to print hello. Now note something. The value of b is also lesser than 30. But the way the if statement works is that once this is true, it's not going to bother itself checking the else if again. It's not. So since this is already correct, then it won't bother checking this. It will only check this if this is not correct. So this will only print hello. It's not going to print taye. Let's look at another example. So again, we have this. Is this condition true? Yes, it will print hello, and it's not going to do any other thing again. So let's look at this. Now, as these three codes are correct, like these three conditions are correct, a is greater than 20, b is lesser than 30, c is equal to 18, but it will only do the first one. So the else if can be long, but then it will only search for the correct one. But there may be some instances whereby none of them will be correct. Let's look at that scenario together. So in this case, if you run this code, none of them is correct. A is not greater than 20, 5 is not greater than 20, b is not lesser than 30, 70 is not lesser than 30, and the value of c is not 18, 180 is not 18, so it's not going to do anything. You can now end it with a final else. That is, if none of them is true, then we want to do something again. I want to say, oh. So since none of them is true, it will execute the command in the else part. So that's the if and the else if. Note that the else if can be as long as you want. Next, we want to look at the logical operators. We're considering three logical operators: the not, the or, and the and. Let's look at the very first one, the not. The not is used to negate something. So I can say if a is not equal to 8, this exclamation mark stands for not. If a is not equal to 8, what do I want to do? I want to print, so since this condition is true, of course the value of a, which is 5, is not equal to 8. This condition is true. Since it's true, it will print out 8. But let's assume the value of a is 8, then it's not going to print out O. let's move on. Then I want to look at the or. So I can say if A is equal to 7 or B is greater than 10, print O. I want you to note something here. Whenever you are using or only needs one of the two conditions to be correct to be true. Once one of them is true, it will execute the command. So this is false, but this is true. And because this is true, it prints out O. Or only needs one of them to be true. So let's look at another scenario. What if this is isonarity? So in this case, both of them are false. This is false and this is false. None of them is true. It's not going to print out O. Or needs at least one of them. It only needs at least one of them to be true. So since both of them are false, it's not going to print out O. So let's look at another scenario. Now this is true, but this is false. But because one of them is true, it will print out O. Let's look at another scenario. This is true and this is true. And because both of them are true, because or only needs one of them to be true. So since at least one of them is true, it's print out O. That is how the or works. Let's consider that one, the hand. The hand needs both of them to be true. This must be true and this one must be true before it executes the command. So in this case, this is true and this is also true. Because of that, it will print out O. If I run this, it's not going to print out anything. Although this is true, but because this is false, it's not going to do anything. It's not. It won't print out O. That is how the AND works. AND needs both conditions to be true. So, before we proceed, I want to quickly introduce us to something we call the truth table. So, it will guide us and make our work much easier. Note, when you have 2 and 2, 2 and 2, the solution, it's resolves to be 2. When you have 2 and false, it resolves to be false. When you have false and 2, it resolves to be false. When you have false and false, it resolves to be false. When you have 2 or false, so let's first do 2 and 2. It resolves to be 2. When you have 2 or false, it also resolves to be 2. When you have false or 2, it also resolves to be 2. When you have false or false, it resolves to be false. Now, why am I giving this truth table at this point? Notice something. When you have these conditions here, Python will resolve whatever is here to either true or false. I think I explained that in the last class. Whatever is here will be resolved to just either true or false. If Python resolves it to true, then it will execute the command here. If Python resolves it to false, then it will not. It will not. So what does that mean? So Python will resolve the statement, whatever is there, to either true or false. Let's look at it together. Is A equals to 8? Is that condition true? Yes. So Python will say if true. Is B greater than 90? No. Python will say false. What is true and false? True and false is false. So since the final answer is false, then Python will not do what is here. But let's assume we have 50 here. Then Python will handle it this way. Is this condition here true? Yes. Python will resolve it to true. Is the condition here true? Yes. Python will resolve it to true. What is true and true? True and true is true. Then it means Python will do the command here. So it makes our work much easier. Let's look at another scenario. Sometimes you may have to combine things together. So how does Python resolve this? Like I said, whatever is here will end up being either true or false. If Python is substitute to, then it will do what is here. If Python is substitute to false, then it's not going to do it. So let's take it together. Is A equals to 80? Yes, that is true. Is B greater than 50? Yes, that is true. Is C equals to 10? No, that is false. So what is 2 and 2? 2 and 2 is resolved to be 2. So this part is 2. So we've resolved this part. We now see whatever the answer is, we now combine with this false. So what is 2 or false? 2 or false is 2. So the final answer is 2. It means Python will execute this command. If you run this, Python will print whole. Let's proceed. Let's run this together and see how Python is going to handle it. Python will ask itself, is this condition true? Yes, that is true. Is this condition true? No, that is false. Is this condition true? No, that is false. What is true and false? Python will resolve this part. True and false is false from our truth table. So Python will solve this part to be false. So we combine the result of this with what we have left. That is how false. What is false or false? False or false is false. So it means at the end of the day, Python will have if false. And since we have false here, then it's not going to do this. So if we execute this command now, Python will not run the command here. So before we go, I need to quickly explain something. And now we remove all of this now. And go back to basic. We have if A, let's say, is greater than 10, print B. If the value of A is greater than 10, then we want it to print big. Now if you run it, of course you know it's not going to print big since the value of A is not greater than 10. It is lesser than 10 obviously, so it's not going to print big. But then maybe you want your users to input this information, you want to get this information from users. So how do we go about it? I explained to us in our last class that we have input and you can say maybe enter a number. So this allows the user to enter a number. And now we run this now. Enter a number. So we have this. User is able to enter a number. Whatever the user enter inside this here, you can save it as a variable. You can say num. You can just give it any variable name of your choice. Num equals to this. And I can print it out. So I can say print num. So let's run it. Enter a number. I entered 30. So that print num is one that printed this 30. The print num on line 2 is the one printing out whatever user entered. So let's proceed and look at something now. We can now say if num, that is, since we know that whatever the user entered is stored as variable num, we can now say if num is greater than, let's say 10, we can say print big. So whatever the user entered, if it's greater than 10, then it's going to print out big. But let's see something interesting here. Let's say I entered 40. So what's going on? We have this error, greater than not supported between instances of str and int. So what's going on is this. Remember I talked about data types in one of our classes, and under data types we talked about the boolean. Boolean is either true or false. We talked about the integer, which is whole number. We talked about the float, which is number with decimal. Then we talked about the string. String is anything in quotes. Now I want you to note something. Whatever you get from your user using this input is always a string. Always a string. So what that means, this 30 you see here is not an integer, even though 30 seems to be an integer. 30 is not an integer. 30 is actually a string. What that means is this is what Python sees. When you type 30 there, this is what Python sees. Not this. Python does not see it this way. No. If it's let's say you type 30.5, this is what Python sees, not this. So Python sees string, not int. Whatever you are getting, whenever you are getting anything from your users using this input, Python will always treat it as a string, not an integer, not a string, not a boolean, whatever. It will always be a string. So what is going on is this: Python is unable to compare a string with a number or with an integer using this greater than. Remember I explained to us that the data type of a variable affects how Python will process that variable, so it's unable to process it. Even though the user entered 30, that 30 is a string, not a number, not an integer. So what do? We can convert the string to an integer so that Python will be able to undo it fine. So we can just say int. So this is supposed to convert it to an integer. So now it's fine. Big. But if you be reusing this, if you want to use num elsewhere in our code as an integer, then it's best to just put it here instead. So that whenever the user entered a number, instantly it will be converted to an integer before storing it as the value of variable num. So meaning whenever you call a num, it will always be an integer. So big. So whatever the user entered now will be compared to this. Let's assume the user entered a small number and nothing happens. That's because this condition is not so. 2 is not greater than 10. So that's the end of the class. But before we go, I want us to, on your own, play with this. Let your user enter a number. If the number entered, if it's lesser than 18, display this result to the user. Tell the user you cannot visit this page. But if the number entered is 18 and above, tell the user welcome. Tell the user welcome. So I'll say that's 1. When you are done with this, you can take this thing a step forward. I'll set as 2. If the number entered is between 0 to 12, tell the user you are a kid. Meanwhile, the number entered is between 13 to 19, tell the user you are 10. Then if it's 20 and above, tell the user, oh, you're not. So once you are done with this, if you're able to do this too, then you'll be able to do the assignment I gave to us in our last class. So when you are done, you can do that of the CGPA I gave to us in our last class. But please first play with this too before you go to the assignments. Thank you very much. If you have any question, feel free to ask me on the group.